Alright, cool. Alright, so today is August 3rd. Man, summer's going by quick. It's crazy. Alright, we're going to start with the Ascends question. I have a dentist client in 4 locations. How should I go about ranking every location, citations, on-page, and correct anchor text? I mean, it depends if you're doing 4 locations on one site or not. If you are, I'll talk to Cotton or Fletch about that, the best way to do that. Because I've never done multiple locations on one site with maps. I've always done like a different site for each. I know they've done that in Derek, where they've had multiple clients on a site. I'm pretty sure I know how to do it, but they know it better because they've actually done it. So, but I mean, if you're talking about different sites, yeah, I mean it's the same thing for each site. I'm guessing you're talking about on the same site. Right, I'm always hearing people say only PBNs don't work, but it seems like that's what you mostly do, which confuses me because I'm trying to get things right. So should I just ignore everybody because only PBNs do only work and will always work? I mean, I don't know why people say only PBNs don't work, because that's what drives pretty much all my sites. I have sites out there making $200-300 a day from just a few PBNs, because it's the right keywords. So now with affiliate, I would say that it's definitely easier with only PBNs. With local, you can still do it, and it still works. But with local, usually it's better to get social involved as well, because a lot of businesses naturally have social accounts. So you're kind of competing with people who have social. Whereas with affiliate, it's not as common where people create social accounts. Now, if you do that, of course, you're giving yourself an edge. But honestly, a lot of the time, unless I'm doing a big site, I don't even do social for affiliate. I don't need to usually. But local, I do see a difference, even like if it's not as competitive, because people just again who have businesses naturally have like a Facebook and a Twitter and all that stuff. It's just something that's naturally worked into a local business now. It can be a little harder sometimes, even if it's not as competitive to do without social. Although you still can, because I've done it. So absolutely, PBNs alone still work. But if you do the socials and all that, and of course high-end citations and all that for local, it's only going to give you more of an edge. But if someone's saying that only PBNs don't work, then they're wrong. All right, I removed a link onto my website and it disappeared on the SERP. I don't think it's penalized because a different page on the site is on the first page. I removed a link going to my website. Alright, so you removed the link. I would need to know more details to know exactly what happened. So it looks like you had a page ranking. You removed a link going to that page, and a different page showed up, which I'm guessing would happen. What would happen if that's the case, likely, is that they're seeing this other page as more optimized now, because it could have since you lost the link going to that page that you had, it lost the power that it had that was kind of overriding that other page, if that makes sense. So now that it's less powerful, they're taking that other page and saying, well, overall, this is more optimized. And optimized, I don't just mean like on-page optimization. I mean like power going to it as well. Because I think optimization is kind of a combination of like when they choose which page to rank. It's a combination of how well that page is optimized for the keyword, of course, like in URL and on page, but then also what kind of power you have going to it. So you sometimes you can have a page that's like really well optimized for a keyword, and a different page will outrank it. For example, maybe your home page, because there's so much power going there, and you still mention that keyword on the home page. So that power you're getting kind of overrides the optimization that you have going on the inner page. So it's a mix between that, and that's likely what happened. Is now that kind of other page just overrided the page that was there before because it lost power. And again, that's just a guess. I don't know exactly what's going on, but I've seen that happen plenty of times. I have a client that I'm trying to rank a video for the sent. I'm trying to rank a video for sent some links from Qzx service, which is a fiber gig. Would you say the best way to rank a website is just embedding and linking to a video? Yeah, that's what I do. I do it with PBNs usually. Services like Qzx service, they can get kind of sniffed out by Google. Same kind of footprints over and over. Not that they don't work anymore, but it's a little hard to make work. But yeah, just linking to the video and then embedding it. All right, from Kurt here. What's up, Kurt? In the past, you used to sometimes put a link on a page that was going to that same page. Do you still do that? I'm working on a site where they did that, and I'm thinking of removing those links. You put a link on a page. I might do it like when I'm testing and stuff, Kurt, but I haven't noticed like a big difference from it. So, you can remove them and see what happens, but I don't think it's going to affect it negatively in any way, unless you're like overdoing it. So, I don't think either leaving them or removing them will see too much of a difference. I haven't really, so. All right, cool. We got a lot of questions rolling in. That's good. All right, from Kevin, when creating a silo for a plumber offering services in different cities, do you have a list of city URL links on every single silo page? What would be the best way to execute this? I just use the vSilo plugin, Kevin, and let that do it for me. That's the only thing I know. I don't deal with setting up sites too often. I usually have people do that for me because I hate doing it. But when they do it, they just use the vSilo plugin, which I believe is free in the Network Empires area. And they'll answer any questions on that for you. I've been using a lot of general PBNs lately, and I don't seem to be getting the same results. What do you think is the best way to fix it? Is it best to delete the PBNs and start from scratch? I'm actually going to come out with some new videos on this soon. I've been talking to James Upjohn, and he's showing me something that he did, and I'm kind of like tweaking it, where basically I'm just making PBNs specifically about one topic and adding more content. So before I would still theme most of my PBNs recently, but I'd only put up like one article. Now what I'll do is I'll put up multiple articles on the same topic. I'll give you a little preview. So if you're doing like, let's say you got like a tree removal client, right? So I might go type in tree removal, and big credit to James Upjohns, by the way, because he kind of started me on this, and I'm kind of tweaking it. So I'll go down here and I'll see what else are people searching, right? And this is what he does as well. All right, so I'll get a PBN, and maybe I'll do something on tree removal services, stump grinding, maybe stump removal. Let's see. Let's do like Dallas. All right, so that was 3. So we had like stump removal, tree removal, tree removal prices. Maybe I'll do like tree removal services. Let's go find something else. Maybe like Dallas plumber. So if I was doing something linking like a Dallas plumber, let's see if we got any ideas here. No, not too much there. Let's try like plumbing services. And I'll usually keep it general on most of my PBNs, even if it's a location. Alright, so I might do like plumbing service prices, types of plumbing services, maybe commercial plumbing, emergency plumbing services, stuff that I'll do articles on stuff like that other people are searching, very specific topics, and I'll link out to my PBN from one of those. Now, James doesn't do any authority links. I've gone over many times why I like doing authority links, so I do authority links, And I'm also playing with linking between my inner pages on my PBN. So, like I'll create the 4 articles and I'll have usually 2 or 3 linking to the one that is linking out to my PBN. And of course, I'll be linking to a couple other pages on there. But I'll come out with some new videos. I'm definitely seeing better results from that. I was seeing good results before from just one, but now it seems like that index is faster. You get more movement when you're just creating a topic around a PBN and backing it up with content. And I'll also do categories, tags, all based around whatever topic I'm doing. So, but I'll come out with new videos soon. The moment it's done testing, I just want to test a little more with it and mess around a little more before I do videos. But that will work better for you, Kevin. What you can do on your general PBNs, create a topic for whatever. Like if you got, let's say you got a PBN, right, and it's general, and you got maybe plumbing, maybe you got something on Barbie dolls or something. Maybe you got something on cars. All right, so you got like 3 articles. So if you like want to boost your plumbing one, create a category for plumbing. You can call it whatever you want, just whatever, plumbers, plumbing services. You can even do something more general, like services. But just create a category, put the plumbing article in that category, go edit it and put that in, add some tags, and then go get a few more plumbing articles. Again, I just wonder how to do that, like plumbing services, or like types of plumbing services, cost of a plumber, when you need a plumber for whatever, just basic topics that people are searching. And then, put up another article on plumbing, put it in the plumbers category, tag it. Put up another article, plumbers category, tag it. Again, you can mess around, link some. Actually, don't do that yet. I'm still playing with that. But just put up more content in that category, the same one as where your PBN is, where it's pointing to. That kind of creates more content, more relevance for that, and I think you'll see some movement from that. I know I have so far messing with it. All right, let's go to Ben's question. All right, in PBN Reload, you say to do a home page with content and then a separate post containing additional content as well as links to our YouTube video and social sites. But I noticed that the PBNs you did in the 2015 OTS had the content and links on the home page, not in a post. It seems to me that a page is stronger than a post and that links on the home page will be more powerful. Is that why you made the change? Also, if my theme pulls sticky posts onto the main page, do those links then have the same power as if they were the content of the main page? I mean, either way, it doesn't matter because you're still getting your content on the home page. Whether you do a page and create it and set it for the home page, or you do a post, I mean, it's going to display on the home page, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. From Paula, and I don't really mess with PBN Reloaded that much anymore, guys. I'm more moving to article content, as I just kind of talked about, where I'm adding more relevant content based around the topic that I'm doing. I just think it's a lot safer. You get more content on your PBN, you get more relevance. So, I mean, I'm liking that route a whole lot better. But again, I'll be doing some new stuff on that soon. I'm still kind of messing with it. From Paul, can we send keyword anchor text right away to new Web 2.0 properties, or do we need to build links the same way as for the money sites? I mean, for me, it usually depends on what the keyword is and if it's in the URL or not. So, I mean, just like same thing with a money site. Like if I have a money site called gregsite.com where there's no keywords in there, I'm trying to rank for Nashville SEO, I might send that right away, right? But if I got NashvilleSEO.com, there's no way I'm going to send Nashville SEO right away. I'll probably do something like SEO services or SEO firm, SEO company, something like that. A lot more general. So I think with the Web 2.0, I kind of treat them the same way. Whereas if keywords are heavy in the URL, I'll if it's like, if you got like NashvilleSEO.weebly.com, I wouldn't send Nashville SEO right away. I'll treat it just like a money site, like an EMD, where I'm probably going to send something like SEO company or something like that, right? Or maybe just like search engine optimization, something general in the category. So I treat it just like a money site now, a lot of times. All right, a quick question for you. If a client site might be slightly over-optimized on the backlinks for a keyword and he is stuck on page 2, what strategy would you take to try to get him moving? If I knew he was over-optimized for backlinks, I would try to tone down the on-page. I'm seeing this a lot where, let's see. All right, so I'm seeing this a lot more now where it depends on your anchor text, but it used to be you would have to have your exact keyword in the title, and if that happened, you were much more likely to rank for that keyword. Now it almost seems like they're going away from that. Like, notice here, notice these results. You would have seen Dallas Plumber, Dallas Plumber, Dallas Plumber, Dallas Plumber, Dallas Plumber, like in these articles exactly. You don't see it at all. You see Dallas Plumbers, like the plural. Here you see it here once. That's plumbers, plural. Dallas, Texas plumbers. So they're liking more stuff like this, like where it's kind of spread out, like this right here, like Dallas emergency plumbing, master plumber. So my point is, you don't see the exact keyword as much in titles as you did before. So I mean, it depends on your links and what your links are. Like if you have a lot more branded anchor text, then they might rank you. Then you probably have a better chance of ranking with the exact keyword in there. But if you have a lot more keyword optimized anchor text, having the exact keyword in your title now has a greater chance of making you drop, right? So I had a site recently where I made this change. Very competitive. It was for was it Chicago SEO? No. It was a really competitive city, okay? And I had, I'll just use Chicago. I don't remember which test site I was doing. So it was Chicago. Let's say it was Chicago. Am I spelling that wrong? Yeah. All right, say Chicago SEO. Then I had like web design, and I had something like Illinois web design and marketing, right? So when I had it like this, I was on like page 4, okay, and I had my anchor text wasn't even too aggressive. All I did was I changed the title, and I did something like, wish I could remember the exact thing I did. I'll just do something similar here. Maybe I did something like, so I changed it from that to SEO services in Chicago, Illinois, or something like that, and then like web design and marketing, and it shot me up 2 pages, all right, to the middle of the second page. So whereas before, having this would have had me on the second page, and then having this version would have had me probably back on page like 4 or 5. Now it's like switched where, of course, it depends on your anchor text. It's almost like if you have your exact keyword in the title, sometimes it's over-optimizing you depending on your anchor text. So just kind of play with your titles and stuff. It's a lot more touchy now, and stuff like this can actually work a lot better because stuff like this, I don't know why, but they're kind of looking down on it more. But again, it depends. Like if you have a lot of branded anchor text, then this might work better. But if you have a lot of keyword optimized anchor text with Chicago SEO in it, this version is likely to work better now. So they're kind of flip-flopping that with titles and stuff like that and on page. So just mess with doing stuff like this with your titles because it's very touchy, and making small changes like this can make a huge boost. I've seen it with a few different sites. The biggest one was this one here, where it was back on like page 4 for a while. I made this change, and within a few days, once the title changed, it hopped right up a couple pages, like 2.5 pages. So I would just kind of mess with toning down the on-page theory. Mess with like toning down the title, maybe some of the on-page as well, and see what happens there. And also, of course, being stuck on the second page can have to do with quality of links, relevance of links. Like if you have PBNs, add more relevance to them, like I was talking about earlier. It can be a lot of different stuff. What's the difference between a social property with a high DA and a PA and PBN with similar DA and PA? Will a social property with a high PA be as good as a PBN with the same PA? No. I mean, social properties are no follow, and also, I mean, they're just like a lot of people can get links from them. Whereas a PBN, it's very unique because a whole bunch of people aren't getting links from them. It's usually just you're the only person getting links from them, and a few authority sites. Whereas a social property, you got millions of people getting links from there, and again, it's no follow as well, most of them. So I mean, it's definitely a big difference. And they're each different. Like I don't want to say, well, I personally think PBNs are more powerful, but I don't want to say like one's better than the other necessarily. If I have two money sites on the same Google Webmaster Tools account, is there a problem if I send both of them links from the same PBN? The PBN is separately hosted, has no Google Webmaster Tools account of its own, and is otherwise set up safely as you teach. I would just put the two money sites on different Webmaster Tools accounts, Ben, to be safe. I don't know if you saw my post in the NHB thread, but it's somewhere near the top if you want to check it out. That just has me, if I ever use Webmaster Tools, I'm going to have one per account. That's just me personally. Alright, from JR, if I want to rank a site for the following window tinting Phoenix, window tint Phoenix, Phoenix tint, and it takes about 20 PBN links to get me to page 2 to 1 aside from those 3 anchor texts, what other variations could I use? That's where I get stuck, not sure what other keyword variations I could use that would push the site up for those 3 specific keywords. Well, one thing with local, you don't want to keep repeating the location. So with local, I would start more with something like general, usually, depending on what the site is. So you might want to start with something like window tinting, window tint services, stuff like that, and then work in Phoenix window tinting, and then just go and do a search and see what other people are searching for with that. See if you can get some more ideas for LSI. Alright, so for this one, you might want to throw it in the Google Keyword Tool and see what other stuff comes up. Let me actually bring that up. Let me pause this for a second. I got the recording going. Usually my first thing is type it in Google and see what people are, what other people are typing. We didn't get much for that. I'm just trying to find some LSI type stuff. That always works best with getting different ideas for keywords. So like window tinting. Can't type today. Whoops. Okay, so here's some ones like car window tinting, window tinting for cars. Of course, you would want to use like window tint, window tinting. You probably could work in stuff like window replacement or repair. I don't know how you have the page set up. And then of course work in stuff like services. Even stuff like this, like how much is car window tinting? I mean, anything like that. And then also like work in your brand name. So if you got maybe like gregstinting.com, I always work in stuff like this. like prices, maybe window tint services. I'll do stuff like that, okay? So I mean, just mix in different stuff like this. Like you got general, you got location based. You can work in stuff like this, even brand. Then stuff like this, kind of brand with general, brand with more specific, and then you can even go to brand with like location. You know what I mean? So I do all of this type of stuff where this is a kind of tough one because there's not really much LSI, but you can do, you could do like, car window modification. That's kind of just off the top of my head, because that would kind of fall on that topic. So just stuff like that. That's what I would work in. That's, of course, just trying to spend a couple minutes looking into that. From Bertic, I've started with rank rent website. I do not have NAP details, so I can't create local citations. So creating Weebly site and linking PBN to them is a good strategy. What more platforms can I use like Weebly? I mean, you can still use Facebook and all that. Facebook, Twitter. You don't need a location for all that. Lori, is there a way to test? Is there a test for a PBN to test its power? Somewhat. I mean, the penalty checks that I show you how to do, you can get a general idea. Again, I go over that in the March, April, May Mastery webinar. Do you have any recommendations for PBN vendors which have given you results other than looking for your own to register Compass? I mean, Gregory Ortiz has a service. I haven't met anyone that does auction domains, which is what I like, or I'm not sure anyone that does. But Gregory Ortiz has a pretty good service for expired domains. I have a question about PBN hosting. I know you say to get new hosting for each PBN so you can mix it up and link out to anything you need to. My question is, if you have one PBN on a hosting account that links out to a money site and then another PBN on the same hosting that only links out to a social property or 2.0 that connected to the same money site, is this an IP footprint in any way, or does the hosting only apply to links coming into one particular property? I mean, I'm sure it can be a footprint, Ryan. I haven't had any problems with it, though. I just try not to overdo it. But, I mean, I've done it plenty of times. I've had no problems with it so far. It doesn't mean it couldn't get hit in the future. It just depends how safe you want to be. Right now, I would say it's generally safe. I try not to overdo it, but I haven't had any problems with it. From Alex, I've been redirecting expired domains into the various pages of my DAS stacks. It seems to be making the DAS stacks more powerful. Does this make sense as a strategy? Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, but just be careful with all the redirect stuff. I don't want to recommend that for like the general community, just because there's a lot of stuff that can go wrong. But yeah, I mean, if you do it right, it can work, Alex. I've been trying to SEO my website since December 2014, but it's been stuck on page 2. Do you think you can help me diagnose the problem? Let me write this down, and we'll see how many questions we get through. But again, my guess, as with most websites, is over-optimization, too much location-based anchor text, quality of links, or relevance of links. All right, so we'll see if we can get to that when we get through these questions. All right, in the domination fourth pillar, you talk about Magic Submitter, and Jimmy talks about GSA. Do GSA Magic style links still work? No, I don't really use them, Tim. Not saying they don't work, but I just like less links, quality. High quality, less links. Generally, I don't really mess with Magic GSA style stuff. All the tests I've done with that style of linking, lower quality links, they get stuck on like page 3, 4. Just quality link issues. So. All right, from Pete, can you speak a little bit about how to link from my social properties? I have Facebook, Twitter, Man, and Yoast set up. I'm unsure where to set up my links to my SEO website. Also, what other social properties are best to use for local client consulting? I don't have a local address set up yet. how to link from your social properties. Just check out the Over the Shoulder series, Iowa City SEO. All these properties we have linking to our page, you can just kind of click on them. Looks like we have the top 6 spots now. Yeah, our Twitter just moved up, and this is actually an OMG, so actually top 7. But just go in these and just look how we link at them. They're just linked in there. I mean, like Facebook, it's kind of linked in your description. Same thing with YouTube. Yelp is more linked to like in the. Let's just go click on it. It's like right here. So I mean, it's different for each one, but you just find the spot where you need to link out and put it in there. The best way to rank a video for an affiliate offer if you're not using a separate website. Again, same thing. PBN to the video and embeds of it. That's the best way to rank videos that I've seen. And then also, Google Plus shares and stuff like that can really help. But that can be tough to get. Is it okay to have the links go from the video straight to the affiliate page, or would you suggest that we insert our own landing pages between them? I mean, I usually have links going straight to the affiliate page. I haven't had a problem with it. I don't know what the rules are with YouTube, but I've never had a problem. Can we use multiple accounts from the same host when hosting PBN? Bluehost, HostGator. If so, what should we be aware of? I don't do that, Danny. If you're going to do that, I would check the IP, make sure you didn't get an account on the same IP, same server. And then also, I would just be careful linking them too close. Like, for example, if you have a money site, right, and PBN1 is on HostGator, and then PBN2 is on HostGator 2, and then PBN3 is on HostGator 3, right? That's very fishy. You got the first 3 links coming into your money site all from HostGator. Even if they're on different IPs, that's something that can be a little fishy. Now, HostGator is a big host, so you might get away with that. Remember, Google's probability-based. But that's not something I would risk. I wouldn't go HostGator, HostGator, HostGator. If you're going to do it this way, which there's really no need to because there's a lot of hosts out there, at least do like, HostGator and then, a few other hosts in between, then maybe a HostGator. Then you have like 2 out of 6 HostGator. But, doing stuff like this, I'd be very careful about, even if these are on completely different IPs, different accounts. They're all still coming from HostGator, which can be fishy. Now, again, HostGator is a big hosting service, so you might get away with it in this case, but you never know. It's not something I'll take a chance with. All right, for local sites, if I'm setting up a lead gen site and I want to push it to the first page quick, would I be okay backlinking about 5 to 10 links every 2 to 4 days? Yeah, usually you're okay doing that, JR, but the problem is if you run into... The problem is you don't really see like the movement of what you're doing, if that makes sense. For example, usually I'll take it slower because I know what's going on. Like if I kind of do maybe a link every few days, I can gauge what to do next easier. Whereas if you're doing 5 to 10 links every 2 days, you're not, like, if something gets stuck, you're not going to know where you went wrong. So it's a little hard to gauge that way, but I've seen no problem linking quickly as long as you're doing everything right. So if you're confident in that, go for it. Do you recommend any specific WordPress themes for creating affiliate type sites? Do you know any themes that are better than others to use for this purpose? Not really. I let someone else handle the web design and on page for my sites. So I don't even pay attention to it much. All right, regarding social accounts for affiliate sites, how do we get verified YouTube and Facebook accounts? They both ask for a phone number to identify, and YouTube only lets you verify 2 accounts in the same year with the same number. How do you get around this? I use Fiverr, Steve. Go on Fiverr and just look for people who create social accounts. I let them deal with it, and I haven't had a problem with accounts getting deleted or anything. Should I add my PBNs to Google Webmaster accounts? How about money sites? I say no, Anise. I personally don't, but it's up to you. Some people like doing it. Again, I just made a post in the Facebook group about stuff going wrong. I mean, if you're going to do it, I would just put, one per account. That's my advice on it from what I've seen. When looking for anchor text ratio, exact keyword, and brand anchor, do we need to check for the root domains or per pages? If I have a lot of brand anchor pointing to my home page and only exact match keyword anchor text to my inner page, is it safe? If I have brand anchor text pointing to my home page, would help my inner pages loop the anchor text and avoid penalty. If I point anchor text, exact anchor to my inner pages. It's a good question. I think they're different, but at the same time, they can be somewhat correlated. But for the most part, I believe they're separate, Samuel, from what I've seen. So it's hard to explain. So here's what I've seen. If you have a home page, right, and you have, sorry, I got all this crap here. So we did this, a few coaching sessions back. Someone said, there was a specific keyword, and the actual page that was ranking had mostly branded anchor text, and it didn't have many links. And he was like, I don't get it. Like, why is this page ranking? This is on one of my coaching calls. It might have been like 2 months ago, something like that. But now in that case, so he had a page, let's say it was Qzx911 / I forget what the damn niche was. Let's say like boiler repair services. I forget, it was something like that, right? So to this specific page, he didn't have much keyword identified anchor text. Like, he had stuff like, like a few links, and it was just like Greg's site. Nothing that was really identifying the keyword. So, and he only had a few links. It was pretty competitive. And he was like, I don't get how this guy is ranking for this keyword. So I went and checked this page, and I saw, there wasn't much. And I was like, okay, well, let's go check the home page. Well, for gregsite.com, guess what he had? He had stuff like boiler repair services. gregsite.com, boiler repair services, boiler repair, service, and prices. All right, so he just had a whole bunch of anchor text going to his home page for stuff like this. All right. So in certain situations, the home page does kind of mix with an inner page, but at the same time, it's really hard to explain. It's separate. Like, I think the optimization is separate for the most part, but at the same time, they can pull what's on your home page to rank inner pages. And I'll tell people sometimes, if you're stuck with an inner page, start sending keyword specific to your home page. That kind of helps theme your site. All right. But at the same, like, if you have a whole bunch of branded anchor text for your home page, and then you hit an inner page hard with keyword, the branded stuff you have going to the home page isn't necessarily going to dilute all that keyword you have going to that page. They're kind of treated separate in that way, from what I've seen at least. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. So you can still hurt yourself, like having a whole bunch of branded here and then a whole bunch of keyword here, like keyword only, doesn't necessarily mean that this is going to help you stay under optimized. You're probably going to get over optimized if you over optimize for this page, no matter how much general stuff you have going to the home page. So hopefully that makes sense. But at the same time, the home page can help you rank for inner pages, because of course it helps kind of theme your site about what topic you're on. Hopefully that didn't confuse anyone. All right, from Alex, do you think it's a good idea when using an auction domain as a money site like America Speaks to 301 some previous authority, internal URLs, and new pages on the site that you are trying to rank specifically for? For instance, if you were trying to rank the URL americaspeaks.org/electronic cigarettes, would potentially be a good idea to 301 a previous internal page URL with links with branded anchor text America Speaks links to that page. My logic is this would give the new electronic cigarette page some good starting page authority, and potentially allow you to be more aggressive linking to the page with targeted keyword anchor text due to the fact that the 301 internal pages had a bunch of branded America Speaks anchor text. Would like to hear your thoughts. Yeah, Alex, that's actually something that would probably work well. That's a little more advanced for anyone that doesn't understand what he's saying. Alex, my only advice would just be careful how much 301ing you're doing. I would probably, like, if I were to do that, I believe I have done it, I would only do it to maybe like the most important page or maybe a page, like the most couple important pages, where I'm kind of taking previous pages that had a good amount of links and redirect them to my most important pages. So I just wouldn't overdo the 301s, is what I'm saying, Alex. You know what I mean? But yeah, there's no reason that wouldn't work really well. I'm building a Solid site with Simple Solid plugin. How should I add pages like terms and conditions, privacy policy, and about us? Should I add them by using Simple Solid plugin or just by adding a page to the usual WordPress functionality, including and excluding them from silos? Yeah, I would just add them by themselves, Anise, for me. You mentioned spinning articles is not good. Is there a tool to use that can ensure vendors are not spinning articles that pass unique tools? Example, Grammarly. I mean, Danny, I just send it through Copyscape. I always have my Copyscape up. And if it passes that and it reads well, I don't really care if it's spun. As long as it's passing Copyscape and it passes Grammarly, I don't really care if it's spun because it's still well written to Google. You know, there's no matches in here. It's passing Grammarly. Good enough for me. I don't really worry about if it was somewhat spun or not. Alright, I have a re-registered Weebly site with very high PATF. I want to build it out as a money site due to strong metrics. How would you build up more DAPATF for site? I can't use vCrack and Social Explosion plugins directly on site. Again, with any site, guys, I don't worry about building up the DAPATF. I don't care about any of those metrics once I have the site. Like, I don't worry about, like, my money sites, I couldn't tell you what any of their DAPATF is. I don't care. All I care about is if it's moving or not. Right? So I wouldn't worry about building it up. Just, do what we show with anchor text and all that. Try to get quality links in there, and that's all you need to worry about. Don't worry about these numbers. These numbers are metrics for me for finding like PBNs and stuff like that. For my own money sites, I could care less about that. I don't even look at it. I look at the movement. All right. All right. So if I have a network of general PBNs, can I set up 3 to 5 categories on each? And then add 3+ articles to each category to make them more relevant? Should we stick to just making each site one topic? I've been doing each site one topic, JR, but I'm going to mess with some general stuff like that, like you're saying, and I'll probably report on that. But what I'm saying, I've been liking just doing one topic per PBN, because then in the site title, you can actually add in the topic. So this is another thing that James had a great idea on. Let's go here. So if you have a site like AmericanBridal.com, say this is a PBN. Of course, we always look for PBNs. Like a big thing is branding of anchor text in the PBNs. So you see this one's a lot of American Bridal, right? So what I would do, maybe I'm setting this up for like, let's say I was setting it up for e-cigarettes, all right? I would do something like American Bridal, the electronic cigarette portal, something like that, okay? Because then you have the brand, what's showing in your anchor text for the PBN in your title with the topic that you kind of want to rebrand it about. You get what I'm saying? So what I do always is whatever is in the anchor text for that PBN, I'll put in the title with my new topic. All right, from Thomas. Do pagecolumn.com RSS links expire after a week or so? Someone posted in the NHV Facebook group that they expire. Should we just use page feed to get RSS URL to put in one feed supercharger? I would ask Network Empire that, Thomas. I've sent links to a client's Yelp page with over-optimized anchor, and it never seems to show up. I see competitor Yelp pages ranking with 0 links, according to Moz. Does the main site have to rank highly before a Yelp page or similar property starts to show up? No, it doesn't have to, Ryan. Again, it's probably just not showing up because you over-optimized it. How would you separate two money sites that are on the same Google Webmaster account? You can always take one out and put it in a different account, Thomas. And that's what I would do after what I've seen. Alright, looking at domains in Majestic, should we be concerned if a domain has a trust flow of 0 in the historic index but 14 in the fresh? I would have thought that domain health over the long period of time would be more important. Is that true in your opinion? I just go off whatever's showing here. Whatever's showing when I put it in. I don't really look at historic. I usually use the fresh. Me personally, I'm not saying historic doesn't matter, but I usually just look at the fresh. Remember, I look at a whole bunch of different things. Like for me, it's everything combined. It's DAPA, trust flow, quality of links, anchor text. So this is just This is just a number. I mean, it's just one of the many factors I use to determine quality. Alright, Alex, just purchased some more expensive PBNs from NameJet Auctions. They were added to my Network Solutions account. What is the best way to deal with this due to the fact that Network Solutions annoying adds your customer number to the whois info on every site? Should I try and transfer all these domains to a different registrar or try and create multiple Network Solutions accounts and spread them out? I saw somewhere that you can't change a domain's registrar for 60 days after registration. Is this applicable for auction domains? I'm ready to get these sites set up as soon as possible. Yeah, there is something with the 60 days. I think most of the sites I've moved were over the 60 days, so I'm gonna have to check on that, Alex. Because right now, what happened was a while back I moved out some sites from Network Solutions to GoDaddy, and all the sites I moved got de-indexed. So I think they have my Network Solutions information flagged. So I think what happened is when I made them public, they just kind of de-indexed all the sites because you have to make a site public to transfer it. So I don't know if it's that or if it's just a weird case. So what I'm doing right now is I'm transferring more out and seeing what happened with them. But most of the sites I've transferred out were older than 60 days. I would believe all of them were. Because I think you're right, there is some type of 60-day thing. And I'm pretty sure that auction domains are included in that. So you would actually have to keep them in your account for 60 days, then move them, I believe. You can ask their support. But for me personally, I would just move them out of Network Solutions. Or what I've been doing until I verify why those sites I moved got de-indexed, what I've been doing is just avoiding sites that are in Network Solutions. Like I'll go check the whois. Like if you got a domain, just go to whois.com/whois and put it in here. And if Network Solutions shows up in the whois information, then I don't bid on it. And I'm just taking that route until I verify if more PBNs I transfer out will get de-indexed or not. So, I mean, that's just what I'm doing for now, at least. I still have to look more into it. How many PBNs do I have in my network? Gregor T says he has 2,000. I mean, up and hosted, I have probably a few hundred, Lori. But most of mine are auction, where they're higher quality. Gregory does expired domains, which are ones you get for registration price, not as powerful. Pratik, I'm seeing lots of movement and rankings, 20 to 25 positions every week. The local sites are created 2 months ago with a couple of PBN direct links and one link from Weebly powered by Third PBN. Is this ranking fluctual normal, or am I missing a trick? I don't know what else you're doing. I would say when a site's new, that is normal, Pratik, for it to go up, down, and they'll eventually settle down. I may be doing SEO for a web design company in a big UK city. They only want to invest $800 a month. They said they will recommend me to their clients if it goes well. A lot of competitor sites have links back from all the websites that they've created, with many having a lot of exact match anchors, including location. Would you still use PBN with anchors without the location? Also, their homepage currently ranks on page 7 for their keyword. Would you create a specific page with optimized URL structure as none of the competition are using one? Would you work on the homepage with the page 7 rankings? I would need to see it, make a decision on that, but it seems like they're over-optimized if they're on page 7. Because, I mean, getting links from a lot of competitor sites. Oh, so you're not saying that they actually have a lot of exact match anchors, you're saying they're competitors. I mean, I would need to see the site and see what type of links they have. If they're on page 7 with a good amount of links already, then that's not a good sign. There's probably something going on there. So it really depends on what they currently got going on, Matt. Do you notice your money site is stuck? Question, you notice your money site is stuck. Keep adding PBN links one by one until it moves, or do you put up a bunch of links at once? It depends on the situation again, Lori. Again, usually a site's stuck on page 2 because of quality of links, over-optimization, relevance, or something along those lines. So it just depends on what I currently have going to the site. You know, if there's already like a whole bunch of links going to the site, and there's a lot of keyword optimized anchor text, I might just try to boost up those links or send general type anchor text from additional PBNs. It really all depends on the situation. Top 5 hosts for PBNs. I mean, HostGator's good. That's one of my top ones. They're easy to use. Trying to think of easy ones to use. I don't know. Like Qzx911 has been good for me. A2 hosting. I don't know. I have a whole bunch that I use, Thomas. BrainHost has been okay, but I've had a little problems with them lately. There's a whole bunch that I use. Just go Google a list of hosting companies and you'll find a whole bunch. Alright, from Ben, to clarify what you said earlier about adding content to PBNs, would that be adding separate pages or posts? I mean, really, you could do either, but I've been doing post Ben and then just putting them in category of the same category that I put the link going out to the PBN with. That way, it's somewhat like a silo. You know, categories are somewhat like a silo structure, or you can actually use the silo plugin and do pages under it. I mean, that could work. What happened to the video of you on screen? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Jasmine. Joanne's questions continue down here. Regarding linking for PBNs that are on an SEO host, I heard someone in OMG on one of the webinars saying that we can still use them, but the linking strategy would be different. Can't find the webinar. Can you tell us how to link from PBNs that are on SEO hosts safely? Yeah, so I mean, I still have SEO hosting accounts. A couple of them that I just never wanted to move the sites that I had on there already. So, for example, if I'm hosting SEOhosting.com and I have 5 PBNs, so PBN 1 through PBN 5, I treat it just like a regular hosting account. Even though they're on different IPs, I don't care. If PBN 1 is linking out to MoneySite 1, then guess what? PBN 2 through 4 will not link to MoneySite 1. Alright? So just like a regular hosting account, like if I have HostGator and I have PBN 1 through 5, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm only going to link to one money site per hosting account. SEO hosting is no different. I treat it no differently. Alright, so I treat it the same way as regular hosting. One site per host. Now, for those of you who are wondering, there's really no reason to use SEO hosting because it's just more expensive now. Just get a regular host and then, because I mean, you're doing the same thing, but you're getting it cheaper. For example, SEOhosting.com, for 5 different IPs, you're going to be paying about $35 a month, right? So this right here is going to cost $35 a month for this account, whereas you could get a HostGator account. You could get a HostGator account for like $8 a month and do the same thing. You have PBN 1 through 5. If PBN 1 links out to MoneySite 1, then PBN 2 through 5 are not going to link out to Money Site 1. Money Site 1 is done for this host. Alright, same thing here. Even though they're on different IPs here and they're on same IPs here, I treat them the same way because they track the hosting level now. The only reason I still use SEO hosting at all is because I just don't feel like moving the sites I had on there from before. That's it. So I mean, for those of you who are newer, there's no reason for you to use SEO hosting at all. Just use the shared host and set up the way that we show. That's the only reason I use SEO hosting still, because I don't want to move the sites. I treat them the same exact way that was a regular hosting. Do you have a recommendation for a broker where we can get higher metric domains for our PBNs? You could talk to Todd Spears. I don't know if they're doing that with Juicy Domains or not. If you're talking about like auction domains, you could talk to Todd. I'm restructuring a website. You're saying not to put the keyword in the URL structure, such as domain.com/city real estate neighborhood, where the keyword is city real estate. No, I'm not saying not to put the keyword in the URL structure, Joanne. You can do that. I don't know if you misunderstood me there, but something I said, but I'm not saying not to do that. Is it a good idea to send Weebly Plumbing Services Dallas TX as an anchor text, or is that too long? No, I like stuff like that, Paul. That's a good question. So if I have like a Facebook page, no, we have a lot of crap on here. So I actually did that with the Iowa City example. You know what I mean? Like we had the Facebook page for Iowa City SEO, and I would send an anchor text like, Iowa City SEO Facebook page. That would be my anchor text, right? So I like doing stuff like that. Like if you have a Weebly, you have a Weebly, it's on like plumbing. Maybe it's on like Dallas Plumbers. I like branding it like that. So I'll do like, maybe even do like Weebly.com plumbing services page, right? Or, the Weebly Dallas Plumbers page, stuff like that. So yeah, I absolutely love doing that with stuff like Weebly and the Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff. Where I'll send like the brand of whatever page of the site I'm on with keyword, or with general plumbing service, just plumbing service, no location. If I want to have anchor text from a picture on a PBN, how would I go about doing that? Would it just be href equals URL link text in the custom URL section of the picture? I just click on the picture, then click the hyperlink thing, JR. That's how I do them. Is there a limit to the number of 301s you can use for a website? I'm sure there is, Joanne. I definitely never overdo it. If I change my page URL to a new one, and 301 redirect the old URL to the new one, will the anchor text and backlinks to the old URL apply to the new one? I did some brand anchor to backlinks to the old URL. Is it safe to send an exact anchor text backlink to the new URL? Yeah. So I mean, whatever's on that old thing will just transfer to the new one, Samuel. Of course, there's going to be a little different optimization because the URL is going to change. But I mean, the anchor text is going to transfer over to that new URL. Our keyword to get searched about 49,000 per month on average. How many PBNs would be good enough? If possible, can you tell me Islamic relief is a competitive keyword, and what should I do to estimate of how much should I charge in PBNs I need? Again, it's impossible to say. It just depends on too many factors. It depends on optimization, power of the site, age, quality of links, relevance of link. I mean, there's so much stuff involved to say how much or how long it's going to take. So I'm going to answer these last three, and then we're going to go to I'm going to look at that site really quick that someone brought up earlier, and then we'll roll out. So we got two from Danny, then one from Steve. This was the last of the questions. So, all right, I wanted to make a very generic national type directory site to use for ranking single pages to use as samples for clients. I want to show a local business I can rank them instead of building out an entire site. I can show the one-page sample instead. Is this okay to do? Will this work? Will it need more PBNs to rank the individual pages? So if you're going to be doing like a huge site, Danny, likely what I would do is, remember I went over earlier how where was it? All right, remember I went over this example where the person's inner page was ranked, the competitor, he hit a competitor where the inner page was ranking, but he barely had any links to this page, and the links he did have there were mostly just branded, no keyword specific. Guess what was powering this page? The stuff to the home page, right? So if you have a huge site that you're doing where you're going to have a whole bunch of pages about the same topic, my approach would be more to power up the home page with keyword-specific anchor text. Because then, of course, mixed with branded, the regular way. Because what that's going to do is just, it's going to theme your whole site. And then when those inner pages go up, your site's already based around that topic, and they're going to pull what's on your home page for these inner pages. And it's going to help rank all those inner pages with little to no links, depending on the competition. So if I were to do like a big site like that, my approach with PBNs would be to hit the home page with a lot of keyword-specific stuff. So that's going to translate to all those inner pages for that keyword. So that's the approach I would take. All right. If PBNs are not set on privacy currently, will changing the registration info to a fake name erase the old info and footprint? I mean, for what I've seen, Danny, whatever information is showing when you get that link is what matters. You know what I mean? So as long as you do it before linking, you should be fine, because I've had no problems with it. All right, last one from Steve. I also have some PBNs on SEO hosting that I don't want to move. Regarding linking, as I understand it, we shouldn't link to the same money site from the same PBN more than 3 times, but if the PBN is on SEO hosting, can we still link from PBN 1 to money site 1 up to 3 times, or is it also different? There's not a limit, Steve, like 3 times. I just kind of put that out there as like kind of like a guideline. I mean, you can do more than 3. It depends what other links are in play. There's so many other factors. I personally try not to do more than 3. But yeah, that's still fine to do from a PBN that's on SEO hosting. All right, so let's go to this last site analyst. This guy said he's stuck on page 2 for Chicago Tattoo Shop. I have to kind of go through this quick, but we'll see if we can see anything. What was it called again? Oh, goodkindtattoo.com. Alright, so he's not in the maps. Alright, so number 14. Right, 65 links from 23 domains, 22 domains. Anchor text actually looks pretty good. So my guess is it's quality of links or relevance. Or something with on-page optimization. Alright, so this looks like probably a PBN. Alright, so like for stuff like this, probably a PBN you have control of, I'm guessing. Let's go look this up. I just want to see the anchor text for it. And I want to see how strong it is. This is one of your top links. So it's a strong link, it looks like. Good PBN. Bus barn and anchor text, bus barn. And also I noticed company in your anchor text a good bit. So what I would do is I would change the site title to something like Bus Barn Tattoo. Do like a Bus Barn Tattoo Company instead of Stage Company. Okay, that way you get tattoo in the site title. And then I would probably add more articles based around tattooing to this PBN. And that will see if maybe it's a relevance problem, and do that for all the PBNs linked into here. Let's see. Yeah, so looks like this PBN has two on it, two different topics. So it's probably a relevance problem, or at least the relevance is not helping you. Again, a lot of people are getting stuck. It seems like, the PBNs where if you add more content based around the topic, it's really helping. And again, that's something I'll be coming out with soon. But the second thing I would check is like keyword density compared to the top sites. So I wouldn't check these two because that's more like a directory in Yelp. So I'd probably check this one here. Alright, so this is your guys. Ooh. So this is your competitor. Let's see. So he has Chicago 3 times on his page. Oh, he doesn't have Chicago tattoo at all. He has tattoo 9 times. So he doesn't have the exact keyword on his page. Now, he does have in his title, he has Chicago tattoos. And it would also matter, of course, what his anchor text is. Alright, so he has a lot more links. And not a ton more. I would triple the referring domains. So he does have a good amount more links, I guess. Alright. Alright, so in your anchor text you had I believe just 2 where you're identifying Chicago tattoo. Looks like right here alone he has 5. And of course he has, stuff like general, like tattoo, specific tattoos in there. So he has a lot more identifying anchor text and here's some more Chicago here. Remember, this is stuff I taught you guys a while ago where I like doing keyword dash, then like a long stuff. I kind of talked about that earlier. But he has a good amount more. Here's another one here of identifying it in. Let's bring up yours and compare it. I'm just trying to give you a look at the whole picture and give you a quick game plan on the fly here. Whoops, not what I wanted. All right, yeah, so, I mean, notice the difference here. You had, 1, 2, 3. Remember how well I said this type of stuff works? Where you have, like, keyword, then dash, brand, or just a whole bunch of different stuff. So he has stuff like that worked in, even here. Here's another Chicago identifying one. Here's more right here. And then, of course, these up here that we kind of went over. All right. And let me see. And then, like, this type of stuff, it's not really doing much for you. A lot of he has keywords that kind of do a lot for him. So what I mean by that is, like, even stuff like this, like it's identifying tattoo. This is identifying tattoo. This is identifying tattoo. This isn't doing much for him. This is identifying tattoo. So he has a lot of general type stuff that's identifying that his site's about tattoos. A lot more than yours does. So that's one part he's really outdoing you on. It's just like all this stuff is making his site about tattoos. Now this one doesn't, but that's branded. This type of stuff isn't doing anything for him really. But he has a lot more keyword identification anchor text, which is really helping him out. I'm just kind of giving you ideas. But if I were you, what I would start with first is, for the links you currently have, I would make them more relevant. So add more content based around those topics. So, we went over that one site, the bus barn. Add more stuff on tattoos and put it in the same category. Same thing here. Add more stuff about tattoos, put it in the tattoo category. See what that does for you. And then we were going over keyword density. We didn't look at your site. All right, so you also have Chicago 3 times. Very well done. You're kind of mocking what the top guy does. And you don't have Chicago tattoo on your site either. And you have tattoo 7 times, he had 9. So you're mocking what he did, all right? But remember, your optimization is a little different. Do stuff like maybe try to add in Chicago tattoo once somewhere in your content and see what that does for you. Because he's a lot stronger with his anchor text for Chicago tattoo. That's what, when people like look at the top sites, they don't really consider that. You got to consider how his optimization is different off page, right? He has a lot more stuff with Chicago tattoo based in his anchor text. We saw like 4 here. We saw like 5 or 6 on the second page. So having the same exact on-page optimization for you won't necessarily work the same. You want to use it as a guideline, but at the same time, it might be different for you. So where I would start for you is, what do you got? You got Chicago Tattooing Shop. You could mess with changing your title. Something like Tattoo Shop in Chicago, or messing with a change like that, and then have Chicago Tattoo exactly in your content. So you can mess with those on-page changes. I would definitely add more content to these PBNs you got going on based around tattoo to make that more relevant. Make your site titles about tattoo. This one's supposed to be general. So what you could do for this one, this journaling life, since you already have 2 topics on there, let me see what your anchor text is. Come on, open site. There we go. All right, so a lot of branded journaling life. Okay. So what I would probably do is change this site title to journaling life dash tattoos. What's the other topic? Stuff with like photos. Tattoo photos and more, okay? That way you're kind of making the site about tattoos and photos, so it'll also help this article here. You're kind of making your site about tattoos. But you're also taking the anchor text that's already there. So you're telling Google, yeah, my site is about journaling life, which is what a lot of my anchor text is, but it's also about tattoos and photos, which will kind of help create more relevance for both of these. So I'd make that title change and then just add more content based around tattoos to this as well. So start there, start with a couple on-page changes, see if you can kind of mix things around, get more relevance. And then from there, what I would do is create more, get some more PBNs in there, strong links with the type of stuff he's doing. This is the type of stuff I love doing, where he's doing stuff like this. So you could do like Chicago Tattoos dash Good Kind Tattoo shop or something, stuff like that, right? Where you're kind of mixing in the keyword with longer anchor text with the brand in there. So again, I would start with the home page and creating more relevance to the current PBNs you have, kind of mess with the on-page changes. If that doesn't do it, add more PBNs to compete with the amount of anchor text he has going to his. All right, so that would be my game plan for that site. All right, guys, it's 20 after. I gotta go pick up my son shortly here. Hopefully that site analyst helped everyone. Yeah, it looks like that helped some people. Cool. Yeah, so my next session is next Monday. I get surgery on Thursday, so I should be good by Monday. But just in case, I just want to warn people if I can't come, that's why. But I'm almost positive I'll be there. I'll be good by Monday. All right, guys, I will see you all on next Monday most likely, and I'll have this recording over to David very soon. All right, talk to you soon, guys.